This episode is brought to you by Baby on Board, Riding and Driving School.
Seek. What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome once again to this fantastically beautiful, fun-filled, great weather, partly cloudy sky, I don't know, 32-degree riding Friday. And of course, it's a motorcycle practical examination day. We got 7 students who are going to be showing off their skills, their talents, their balance, their control, and giving it their all for this motorcycle practical examination. So why don't we check them out, and I'll continue to enjoy the road, and I'll see you when I see you. Woo!
Scale on the bike there, E4, UP, and Eco. You after him. And Lance.
Good morning. Important parts, back brakes, front brakes, headlamp, the muffler, backlight. What I should say is more basic.
that examine. So we have to check it out. That
Good morning.
Yeah, man. Talk to me there.
How was the exam?
The exam was great.
Everything was alright, man. Reasonable.
It was great. It was great.
It was okay, manageable.
A little bit nervous, but it was great. We were taught everything we needed to know, so yeah.
It's not that difficult and complicated.
It was very good. It's not that hard. I think anybody that has a motorcycle on the road and doesn't have a motorcycle license should really take part in this and try and get the license.
It was good. It was a little tedious, but it was good. It was good. It worth it. Everything. I guess don't rush your bike, but the exam was nice and good. Teaching other things.
Exam was pretty good. Can't complain. Was a bit challenging because we were nervous, trying not to fail, trying to please the examiner, trying to do what we learned. But apart from that, it was really good.
What was the scariest part of the exam for you?
The scariest part,
My nerves.
Scariest thing for me was the U.
There's a part there where you have to turn right where there's like a pothole, and when I did the trial run I messed up because I was focused in the wrong place, but once I remembered to not look at it, everything was good.
Bending it so, but it was alright, man.
It wasn't nothing to be scary about. I guess if you're somebody that maybe kind of nervous, maybe you'll be kind of shaky when you get on the bike. But the exam was okay. It was alright.
I would say doing the small arms and passing to go to the U-turn, that was a bit scary. You don't want to cut off, you don't want to touch the cones, just want to try and do your best.
was trying to perfect, the route. Trying to make sure you get the angle to, properly execute whatever, dimension, whatever they were trying to make you, to see you execute. So they wanted to see the 8. You have to make sure you were really, for me, it was really trying to get the 8, square the O's of the 8. So yeah.
The schedule part of the exam, when you're accustomed of rushing a bike, but the schedule part is like when you have to have control over the bike. So that teaching you control and that teaching you everything of the bike. So you don't need throttle everywhere you go. The bike is just working. So you have control over the bike now.
What would you say to persons who are riding without a license? They're afraid to come do the exam.
Yeah, man, it's easy. The skills you learn necessary because anybody can ride on the road, honestly. But when you can control a bike slow and do tight turns and maneuver stuff like that, that's what's really going to show that you can ride. So get your license, get legal, learn the skill properly, and you'll be fine. You'll have to keep watching over your back so your bike don't get taken. Yeah.
I would advise everyone to come and do the exam and get license because these days the police are very hot on the road and you need to have your license.
It is for your own safety actually. There's nothing to be afraid. Nothing fearful. You're already riding, especially if you have your bike. So there's nothing to be fearful about. If you just come, talk to Lincoln, and then he sort out things for you and he makes you feel comfortable. So I don't see any reason for you not wanting to come and do it. And it's a safe thing. It teaches you a lot. How to ride safely on the road, and I suggest that anybody that doesn't have a license or that just riding around really should get involved in doing this.
I would advise you to go and get your license because trust me, there are a lot of things you thought you knew but you don't know at all. And trust me, when you come to the class, it teaches you so much more, and at least you'll be legal on the road. There are no problems, and trust me, it's just worth it. It's worth it.
I've been so for a very long time. I will not specify how long, but I believe everybody should get it. It's not that difficult to do, it's just a sacrifice of time. Get the theory done, which is not difficult at all, and just come and do the practical. The course is not even hard, it's not even practically on the road, it's just for a circuit and everybody will be fine. Make the place a safer place to be in.
This time and age, trust me, when you come and do the exam or you come and you join the school, at least you will know stuff you didn't know. You will get to know stuff you should know in the event of something happening. You understand? So it's a plus. You need to get that, you need to come get more experience and at least know what you should and should not do.
Don't be afraid. It's very simple and easy. Yeah? Not much days in class, Trust me, you're already riding on the road, you will come and pass it at the exam. Very easy, Missy. Come and do it. Yes, sir.
Guys, it's very simple. It's not hard work. Well, sometimes there's be hard work because you don't know the real rules or the professional way of riding. But guys, we need to come and get our license so that in the future we could Don't look for roadblock. Don't check. They say what the road from there to there, if it's clear or anything like that. Now for those are the students that passed, it's just a well done. I congratulate all the students for well done work. Today right now you'll have your license and it's a new journey on the road. So take care and just be safe.
Yeah, man.
Remember, ride to save a life.